Hey folks, Nasopharyngeal Airways today on TacMed TV. Hey folks, Steve with TacMed TV here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about nasopharyngeal airways and placement of said nasopharyngeal airways. Nasopharyngeal airways are something that are used to obviously hold open an airway, but it's that one more piece of equipment in your kit that you have for to address airway obstruction. Airway obstruction is the number 3 killer in trauma. Number 1 is massive hemorrhage. Number 2 is tension pneumothorax. And number 3 is airway obstruction. And of course, the most common airway obstruction is what? Can you all tell me? Of course you can. And you're absolutely right. It's the tongue. The person goes unconscious, the body relaxes. The tongue's just a huge muscle, so it relaxes and falls into the back of the throat and occludes the airway. The nasopharyngeal airway fixes that, okay? When you place the nasopharyngeal airway, and we'll demonstrate that here in just a second in a very unique way, but when you size the nasopharyngeal airway and when you place it, you're going to size from the nose to the tragus, to the earlobe, and that'll be your correct length. As far as the size, the diameter of the nasopharyngeal airway, you're just going to kind of look at their nair and say, yeah, I think it'll hold this tube. I think this will be the size that it'll hold. And then you just go from there. Now, with what I'm going to do today, and I am feeling a little bit nervous about this, but I do have some help with me. You guys remember several videos ago, a gentleman by the name of Jim Williams that helped me with the mat tourniquet video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a YouTube card up for you to check that out. But Jim Williams is going to help me with that today. Jim, where you at? Come on in here, buddy. You know you want to. Yep.
I'm on the way!
He's on the way.
Medic up!
And medic up. Jimbo up. Here he is. The man, the legend, Jim Williams. How you doing, Jim?
All right.
How
are you?
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Hey, I was here anyway.
Right, since it's your house, he's here anyway.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help with me. They were helping me with this today because I'll be honest with you. We tried to shoot this earlier. It didn't go so well with me trying to do this myself.
You tried to shoot this earlier. I was not involved.
And that probably is the problem, okay? I didn't have him directly involved. So anyway, we've got a nasopharyngeal airway here. We've got some Surgy Lube, KY jelly, Kentucky jelly, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna have Jim drop this nasopharyngeal airway on me. So this is gonna suck. I've already kind of gotten a taste of what this is gonna be like. And I'll be honest with you, when I tried to do this on myself, I just couldn't get it done. So I'm gonna have to get him to do it, and we're just gonna power through it. I'm standing over the sink, the disposal side, in case I yak, which I shouldn't, because that's one of the advantages of the nasopharyngeal airway.
P.S. If you do yak, don't anybody that watches this video tell my wife that it happened, because she will make me replace the freaking garbage disposal. Now, back to the show.
Yes, she will. Oh my God, here we go. All right, Jim, I'm going to let you kind of take it over from here because...
Oh, you can take a bigger one than this.
Oh, shut the heck up. You've got me confused with yourself.
Watching you earlier has me mightily confused. Okay, so did you tell them about the alternatives for lube? Because I wasn't really listening.
No, I didn't go into that because I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around what's getting ready to happen here. So just go ahead with that, if you would.
Okay, well, the textbook way of using this, we pull one out, we size it. That's something as a provider that you can pretty quickly just kind of guesstimate when you're looking at somebody. But the textbook way of sizing it is from tip of the nose to the tragus, or the earlobe, or down to the jaw. They've kind of gone both ways. Ooh, look, oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so You're going to size it like that, and also you can kind of get a guesstimate from the diameter looking at the person's nose hole. Remember, when you're inserting this, we're going to direct it posteriorly, so it starts off going in like this. It'll eventually make its own curve, but your nose hole goes straight in, not straight up like most people think that it does accidentally. I've got a story about that I won't tell now.
I do too. Does it involve Gary?
It does.
Yeah, I think I know the same one.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're going to get you some lubricant. If you don't have lubricant available, a lot of times you can substitute something like the patient's spit. Just take the airway, put it in their mouth, twist it around a couple of times, and then back out. It's not very sanitary. You got the mouth germs in their nose now, and during this procedure you might have some bleeding, so theoretically you could have an infection, which is better than theoretically having a obstructed airway and dead. But the chances of infection are a lot less. So, okay, so we've opened up our surgical lube. We're going to put a little bit on the business end. Usually I do this with a glove. Slather it on there. I'll even go up a little bit further just because I like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm faking because it's video. I don't really care about you one way or the other.
I figured.
Then if the person's unconscious, and I'm not going to do this, or you might want to do it for yourself, is I usually take a dollop and put it at the entrance to the nares, and you can do it with your magical fingers.
Yeah.
I usually like to put a drop there and then take my pinky, gloved pinky, and just put it in there and kind of route it around a little bit so you can get a lube from the start.
Oh my God.
You don't have to go like...
I'm not, I'm just...
Okay. It's not sunscreen, dude. Okay, and then we're going to put it in. As we insert it, the official way is bevel towards the septum. If you're reading an EMT book, in the end, there's a teeny tiny slight percentage that might guide it a little bit better. But I usually like going with just following the curvature. So these are cut to go in the left area.
Right
they're cut in the right area, and that's the bevel. So that's bevel up. So towards the septum would be like that. If we went in the left, theoretically, we'd put it in upside down and then twist it in place. As you're inserting it, as you go in, and go sideways for me, as you get back in here where the nasal cavity makes a turn, you're going to meet a little bit of resistance. As you do that, you can get around that a little bit better by slight pressure. One of my big sayings when I'm teaching classes is everything about airway is about finesse. If you are using force in anything that has to do with airway, you're screwing up. If it's putting the bag to a mask to make a bag mask and you mush it down, you screwed up because you're not going to be able to take the mask back off. Yeah, so everything is a light touch. But also as you're putting it in, dude, it's okay.
This is going to suck, man. This is going to suck.
Also, as you go in, if you meet that resistance, give it a little bit of a twist. Same thing as like with an ET tube. If you're hitting vocal cords, if you twist it a little bit, you'll move that bevel around, and sometimes it'll help guide it. Okay? All righty?
All right, let's do this, man.
In for a penny. All right. So we're going to put it in. Okay. Move your head back a little bit.
Oh.
That better?
Oh.
Sideways for me. Your whole body.
Okay.
Keep your head in line. That's going to
yeah.
help the procedure. And then move your... Let's do it like this.
Oh, God, that hurts.
Okay, we're out.
Oh. Did we get it in there?
And if we liked about that much. So...
Well, I could feel it
Yeah.
back here.
So what you... Well, I don't know if we want to reshoot or not. But anyway, a couple of things you can do. There are brands that have a flange that moves.
Yeah.
And in that case, when we got there where you started having a gagging, we moved it up a little bit. But where that... Go ahead.
No, I was looking for...
What?
That.
Lovely.
There's
There's a paper towel behind you.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, so whenever you do this, a lot of the time as you're scraping across the turbinates, you're going to get a little bit of nosebleed. Don't freak out about that. But at the same time, don't pound into it, because if you do tear tissues, you can have a whole lot of nosebleed and got even more airway issues. If he was unconscious, it would have been a little bit easier because
a lot easier.
It would have because as you do this, you can also adjust the person. If they're unconscious, then you can do your head, tail, chin lift or modified jaw thrust. You reach in and pull their jaw forward to get the tongue out of the back of the throat. It'll go in a whole lot easier. So the distance that it went in, it had already made the turn. I know you can't, unfortunately, look at that, let's go sideways. It had already made the turn, and it was down there right at probably around his uvula, or just about to be behind the tongue where you want it to be placed eventually, and that's what was triggering his gag reflex. So again, you've got some kinds that you can move the flange and set it there. You could also, if you want, you can know ahead of time if you got somebody that's got weird anatomy, you could trim it down. I wouldn't advise that very much. I'd rather have a little bit too long than too short, so you make sure that you're behind the tongue. You gonna live, brother?
Blood. We did good.
Yeah. So I'm kind of disappointed. Let's do your other nostril.
Let's not. Let's not.
All right. So and see, there's no evidence. There's no blood on that. So I think that he had a nosebleed when he came in from his
right.
Yeah,
well, the thing about it is, and you all seen me in the last video.
Don't.
In the last video, I told you I was getting over a sinus infection and everything. My sinuses, those of you that know me, know my sinuses are always kind of jacked up. So that could be part of the problem with dropping the airway and why I was feeling what I was feeling, because it was a pretty jacked up feeling. But, went through it. Now, if I'm unconscious, like he said, that's one thing. It's going to go a whole lot easier because it's not going to be, you're not going to have to deal with all that stuff. So interestingly enough, they say that these can be used on conscious patients with a gag reflex. Well, they can, and I could feel the airway getting into place. I could feel it. It was right back here in the back of my throat. I could feel that. I mean, it was right there. I think if it would have been left where it was, I think it would have done just exactly well, but it really felt kind of weird. So, oh God, what are you doing?
I'm back again.
Oh Lord, you gonna do it on yourself this time?
Yes, I'm gonna do it just to prove a point.
Please do.
Okay. So, because you don't want to. One thing is that I've always kind of thought is don't do something on somebody that you're not willing to do to yourself, depending upon the situation, whatever. Don't just be playing with people. So the only caveat to that is I've never synchronized cardioverted myself. Because but anyway.
But you probably never had a need to.
Yeah. But these skills, we were talking before the video shoot. I've had people like an EMT class where we'll just put them down if a person volunteers. They can put them down on themselves spontaneously without.
Oh yeah.
That's nasty.
It just rub it around in there, man. It feels even more nasty than it looks.
That'll put it down without a lot of preparation and not even knowing what to expect when they're putting it in. So let's give this a try. So we've already sized it.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
Dude, you the man.
It's right in the back of my tongue.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there you go. You got it. Good deal.
Well, that's how it's done. All right, so the problem with that, when you got somebody that's unconscious or they're obtunded,
you need those.
When they're unconscious or obtunded, they're naturally, their tongue, if they're prone or if they're supine, their tongue is naturally flopping back to their throats. That's the cause of the airway obstruction Steve's talking about. That's the cause of death. And that's the reason for the airways, to get it up off the back of the throat. Excuse me, so that you can get air in and out. in Steve's case, when he was doing that, not being used to, I'm not used to it either. Like I said, I've never done that before, but I was running through my head the anatomy and the physiology and crap. When I got back to the back of my tongue, as I was inserting it, I could feel my tongue moving as I was trying to talk and swallow and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is what Steve's problem was. Hitting the back of the tongue, and as a conscious person, your tongue and all the muscles of your throat and your epiglottis, they all work hand in glove to make sure crap doesn't get back behind your tongue unless it's on its way to be swallowed or something. So then I just mentally got into, hey, this is food, it's okay, tongue stick out. Matter of fact, you saw me, I stuck my tongue out to make it get out of the way.
Yeah.
Unconscious person, you can't tell them to stick their tongue out, but you can simulate the same thing by jaw thrust or your head tilt chin lift being a little bit more exaggerated if need be. And I guess that's it. Even on a conscious person, and I've done this before with nasally intubating somebody that's semi-conscious. When you're hitting resistance, it just popped in my head. I've told them before, stick your tongue out at me or jut your jaw forward to make it a little bit easier, because I've read that somewhere in an airway book. I just never equated it to nasopharyngeal airway until just now.
Just now.
So anyway, same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, let me tell you folks, that sucks. I ain't gonna lie to you. As a conscious person, that sucks, okay? And of course you can't see here in the sink when I put my nose out. Oh yeah, there's blood.
Nothing came out.
Nothing came out.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here, just some blood. So anyway, everything he said is absolutely true. But it is one of those skills that you need to know. Even if you're, EMS people in EMT school and paramedic school, you're taught these things in first responder school, or what they're calling it now, emergency medical responder now. They teach this skill, okay? It's something to have. Now, you tactical medics out there that are working with a team, that are active with a team, you need to teach your officers how to do this too. And there are becoming classes out there that officers can take, that law enforcement can take to learn these skills. They need to learn these skills because it might be something. I'm not going to say they're going to have to use a nasopharyngeal airway on themselves, but to be able to use that on one of their fellow officers, that's something that they're going to need to know. Okay, so make sure you're teaching that to your officers. We teach our officers that when we have our medical day, when we have our medical training day. This is part of the stuff that we teach our officers. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Folks, when I tell you I'll go to any lengths to make sure that you all have a video to watch, I'm not kidding. I have bled for you.
You go to almost, you lack this much going to any lengths.
Yeah, that much going to any length. But you took it all. Like a champ.
Learn from a master.
Right. So anyway, again, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, let me know in the comment section what you liked, what you didn't like. That's how we make the channel better. That's how we grow the channel, okay? If you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing, okay? I'll put the subscribe button. Let's see, how am I standing? I'll put it.
Wait a minute.
Probably, yeah, I'll put it over here, somewhere in this corner probably. Ding. And yeah, it'll be a little star up there. You'll see it. And then I'll sprinkle some more videos around for you guys to check out. Anyway, that being said, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, my name is Steve, saying stay safe.